Hello, you're watching ERi-TV English News Broadcast live from our headquarters in Asmara. I'm Mohammed. Let's first look at the top stories that are making headlines today. Funeral service of Mr. Alamin Mohammed Seid. Announcement from the Ministry of Health. Eight soldiers killed in Azerbaijan-Armenian border clashes. Schools in Indian capital shut indefinitely as smog worsens. The funeral service of Mr. Alamin Mohammed Seid, Secretary of the People's Front for Democracy and Justice, was conducted today, 17 November, at Asmara Martyrs Cemetery in the presence of President Eritrea, senior government and PFDJ officials, army commanders, as well as religious leaders, family members, and others within the confines of COVID-19 guidelines. President Eritrea, Mr. Emmanuel Gabrab, Head of Political Affairs of the PFDJ, General Philippos Johannes, Chief of Staff of the Eritrean Armed Forces, and the late veteran fighter's daughter, Amira Alamin, laid wreaths at the cemetery. Veteran fighter Alamin Mohammed Seid joined the ELF at a young age in 1966 and was one of the founders of the EPLF in 1970. And for the subsequent 55 long years, Mr. Alamin served his nation and people with stellar dedication and distinction. He was elected to high offices in the first, second, and third EPLF congresses. Among other leadership positions, Mr. Alamin was head of EPLF Foreign Relations from 1977 to 1987, National Guidance from 1987 to 1991, Information from 1991 to 1994, and PFDJ Secretary from 1994 to 2021. Fluent in many languages, Mr. Alamin was renowned for his exceptional personal warmth and kindness. The Secretary of PFDJ, Mr. Alamin Mohammed Seid, veteran freedom fighter and one of the pioneers and stalwarts of Eritrea's liberation struggle, passed away at the age of 74 due to sudden illness during his brief sojourn for public seminars in Saudi Arabia. Mr. Alamin Mohammed Seid is survived by his wife and 4 children. Expressing deep sorrow of the passing away of veteran fighter Mr. Alamin Mohammed Seid, the government of Eritrea and the People's Front for Democracy and Justice expresses condolences to the Eritrean people, families, and friends. Fifteen patients have been diagnosed positive for COVID-19, and tests is carried out today at testing stations in the central, southern, and Sabah and Gashwarka regions. Out of these, 7 patients are from testing stations in Edaga Arbi, Tabba, Zazarat, Arbat Asmara, Sambel, Kahauta, and Makal Ketama Central region. 5 patients are from testing stations in Dubarwa 2, Adukala 2, and Mendefera 1, southern region. 2 patients are from testing stations in Keren and Galeb and Sabah region. The last patient is from testing station in Barantu, Gashbarka region. On the other hand, 13 patients who have been receiving medical treatment in hospitals in Ansaba 10 and Southern 3 regions have recovered fully and have been discharged from these facilities. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly increased to 6,906, while the number of deaths stands at 52. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date has increased to 7,091. Ministry of Health, Asmara, 17 November 2021. The road connecting Keren with Asmat that has been difficult for transportation is under renovation with support of machinery. Indicating the importance of the road facilitating their daily activities, the residents of the area expressed readiness to play and contribute their part in the completion of the renovation process. According to report, Hara Transportation Company has already allocated buses at the fair price, and that upon completion of the renovation activity, the transportation problem of the residents will be alleviated. The popular campaign is in continuation of Road's renovation popular campaign connecting Hawish Asmat, Shigali, and Henap in Beldai era, as well as Asneda Shaka. We will be back with international news. Stay tuned. Baku and Yerevan trade barbers as flares up along shared border threatens fragile ceasefire agreement. 7 Azerbaijani service members were killed and 10 more were wounded in clashes with Armenian troops on the other country's shared border, according to Azerbaijan's defense ministry. Armenian officials reported 1 casualty and said 13 soldiers were captured during Tuesday's hostilities, while 24 more have gone missing. The Armenian Defense Ministry said Azerbaijan's military opened fire on Armenian positions. The clashes marked the worst fighting between the two ex-Soviet nations since they fought a 6-week war last year, a conflict that killed more than 6,500 people. Armenia's Security Council has called on Russia to help protect the country's territorial integrity. Residents urged to work from home and trucks carrying non-essential goods banned as New Delhi's air pollution hits danger levels. New Delhi has shut down schools until further notice, urged people to work from home and banned non-essential trucks from entering the Indian capital due to dangerous levels of air pollution. One of the world's most polluted cities, home to some of 20 million people, New Delhi is cloaked every winter in a thick blanket of smog. On Saturday, the Delhi state government had ordered schools to close for a week and banned construction work for 4 days. But in an order passed late on Tuesday, the Commission for Air Quality Management for Delhi said all educational institutions should remain shut until further notice. The top court also rapped the federal and local governments over their failure to mitigate pollution. Before we close for today's news, let's have a recap of the headlines tonight. Funeral service of Mr. Alamin Mohammed Seid. Announcement from the Minister of Health. Eight soldiers killed in Azerbaijan-Armenian border clashes. Schools in India capital shut indefinitely as smog worsens. That was all for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.